The next war in West Asia could be breaking out. Hezbollah says it is ready for an all-out war with Israel. Can Hezbollah take on Israel? What happens if the war breaks out? Will America rush in to defend Israel? What about Iran? Will it join the war as well? And what does all of this really mean for the entire region? Let's start off with the latest. This is Sheikh Naim Qassem. He is the Deputy Chief of Hezbollah. He told the media that Hezbollah is quote-unquote ready for the battle and will not allow Israel to secure any victories. What battle is Qassem referring to? Let's just draw out the map of West Asia for you. This is Israel. That's Lebanon to its north. Now, Hezbollah is an armed group that's based out of Lebanon. The group is backed, trained and armed by Iran. Basically, Hezbollah is an Iranian proxy. It is part of Iran's axis of resistance. Now, ever since the start of the Gaza war, Hezbollah has been exchanging fire with Israel. So Israel's northern border has been on the boil for 8 months now, basically. There have been exchanges of missiles. There have been few casualties, but there has not been an all-out war yet. Now, that is what could change. The Hezbollah leader says, and I'm quoting again, any Israeli expansion of the war on Lebanon will be met with devastation, destruction, and displacement in Israel. If Israel wants to fight an all-out war, we are ready for it. Things have been escalating in the recent days. On Tuesday, for example, Hezbollah claimed it had launched one-way attack drones at Israeli military barracks. It was the second consecutive day of such attacks, according to Hezbollah. On the other side of the border, Hezbollah's rockets have set off massive wildfires. Have a look. Large parts of land have been gutted in Israel. We have visuals of rescue teams fighting fire in northern Israel. Even warplanes dropping fire suppressants. Israel's Park Authority says fires have spread across thousands of acres. For months now, border towns have become frequent targets of Hezbollah's rockets and drones. Many of these towns have had to be evacuated. Some 60,000 Israelis have been displaced. Back in Lebanon as well, at least 90,000 civilians are estimated to have been evacuated. At least a third of them are children. But this evacuation has not guaranteed an end to the death toll. Earlier this week, 2 brothers were killed by Israeli fire in southern Lebanon. Separating the similar sorrows of the two sides is a blue line, an impassable electrified fence that runs 120 kilometers along barren hills. Scattered on the border are blue pillars. The blue line was set by the United Nations in 2000. This was after Israel withdrew its military from southern Lebanon. But the demarcation line could not stop Israel and Hezbollah from fighting a war in 2006. Today, people from both sides of the border are looking at each other with fear. Is another war breaking out? Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his country is prepared for strong action in the north.
Yesterday, the ground was burning here, and I'm glad you put it out. But the ground was also burning in Lebanon. Whoever thinks that they can harm us and we will sit down idly is making a big mistake. We are prepared for a very strong action in the north, In one way or another, we will restore security to the north.
Say a war breaks out tomorrow. What happens then? Can Hezbollah even take on Israel? The armed group has a huge arsenal of rockets. Reports say Hezbollah has upwards of 150,000 missiles and rockets. And what's the range of these rockets? They are good enough to hit all areas of Israel. That's what Hezbollah claims. In fact, reports say Hezbollah has Iranian rockets like the Fajr, Zilzil. In the last few months, Hezbollah has fired Katyushas, even Burkan missiles at Israel. Hezbollah, in fact, also has drones in its arsenal. These are mostly locally assembled models like the Ayub or Mirsad. These drones, in fact, are believed to be cheap and easy to produce. And then you have the anti-tank missiles, which, by the way, Hezbollah used extensively in the 2006 war. And since the war, Hezbollah has reportedly also acquired Russian-made anti-ship missile. We're talking about the Yakont missile. It has a range of around 300 kilometers. The group also has anti-aircraft missiles, anti-ship missiles. The Hezbollah has received most of these weapons from Iran. Now, coming back to manpower. As per the CIA World Fact Book, Hezbollah has some 100,000 fighters. In other words, the armed group is capable of causing damage. What's more, reports say Hezbollah is bringing in more sophisticated weapons. The question is it in preparation of a war? Fears of a third Lebanon war are on the rise. And let me tell you what Israel's far-right National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir said during his visit to one of the wildfire-affected parts. I am quoting Ben-Gvir. They are burning here. We need to burn all of Hezbollah's strongholds and destroy them. War, quote unquote. The US is calling for a de-escalation in the tensions along the Israel-Lebanon border. In fact, the US and France have been trying to chalk out a diplomatic solution to the Hezbollah-Israel conflict. The proposed plan involves moving Hezbollah's armed forces over 6 miles north of Israel. Hezbollah says it will not be agreeing to any diplomatic deal with Israel, not until the war in Gaza stops. Hezbollah has also said that it will not stop firing missiles at Israel till the war in Gaza ends. When is that happening is the question. US President Joe Biden is pushing for a 3-phase peace plan. But so far, there is no word on whether Netanyahu is on board. Hamas, we know, says it views the plan positively. All eyes are now on Bibi, who instead is now talking about a strong action in the north. So where does this story go from here? Is this the start of another war? One that stands to draw in more powers? Look at what happened in Lebanon today. The US embassy in Beirut was attacked. As per reports in the local media, there was gunfire. It lasted almost half an hour. Reports also saying that a member of the security team of the US embassy was injured. Lebanese security forces have reportedly detained an attacker. We are being told that the attacker is a Syrian national. But he was not acting alone. Reports talk about at least 4 other attackers being involved. So far, no group has claimed responsibility. The US Embassy has put out this tweet. It says small arms were reported near its entrance in the morning. What you have here basically are escalations pointing at dangerous possibilities.
To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.